Hundreds of alien races are present. The atmosphere is tense and silent. A human man named Ethan Cross stands alone, guarded, confused. The alien princess suddenly declares, "This human is my chosen mate, my future husband." Shock spreads across the room. Ethan has no idea what is happening. The crowd reacts with fear, anger, and disbelief. Humans are new to the galactic stage. Other species see humans as weak, short-lived, and unimportant. Earth only sends Ethan as a low-level cultural observer, not a leader. Aliens ignore him during the summit. The alien princess, Princess Sailira, enters. She belongs to a powerful warrior empire. Her species believes emotions are dangerous. Smiling is unknown and considered a sign of deception or madness. Many fear her. Ethan and Sailira briefly lock eyes. She looks curious, cold, and distant. Ethan, nervous and polite, smiles without thinking. The entire hall freezes. Guards tense up. Aliens whisper in fear. Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The great hall of the Galactic Concord was silent. Not the normal kind of silence that came from peace or respect, but the heavy silence that came before disaster. Thousands of beings from hundreds of star systems filled the massive chamber, yet not a single sound could be heard. No breathing, no movement, no whispers. At the center of the hall stood a single human. Ethan Cross. He did not belong there. Everyone in the room knew it. Ethan stood straight, hands calmly at his sides, wearing the plain dark uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. No medals, no symbols of power, no guards standing beside him. Compared to the towering armored figures, floating entities, and glowing alien nobles around him, he looked small, fragile, easy to erase. And yet, every eye in the hall was locked on him. Across from Ethan, standing on the raised crystal platform reserved only for royalty, was Princess Sailira of the Velari Dominion. She was tall, elegant, and terrifying in her stillness. Her silver-blue skin reflected the light of the hall like polished metal. Her eyes, dark and sharp, showed no emotion. Her presence alone was enough to make seasoned warlords tremble. She slowly raised one hand. The hall remained frozen. Then she spoke. "This human," the princess said, her voice calm and perfectly clear, echoing through the chamber, "is my chosen mate." A ripple of shock ran through the room. "My future husband." The silence shattered. Shouts erupted, alien languages overlapped, guards reached for weapons. Several ambassadors fell back in fear. Others stared at Ethan as if he had suddenly become the most dangerous being in the galaxy. Ethan's heart slammed against his chest. He turned his head slightly, unsure if he had heard her correctly. His mind struggled to catch up with the words echoing through the chamber. Future husband. He had never spoken to her, he had never touched her, he had never even been formally introduced. All he had done was smile. Only a few hours earlier, Ethan Cross had been completely invisible. He stood at the far edge of the Galactic Concord Hall, surrounded by towering alien delegates who barely acknowledged his existence. Humanity had only recently been allowed into the Concord. Earth was young, weak, and politically irrelevant by galactic standards. Most species lived for centuries, humans barely reached one. Most species commanded fleets that darkened star systems. Earth had sent one observer ship and a handful of diplomats. Ethan was not even an ambassador. He was a cultural liaison sent to watch, listen, and learn. His job was simple: do not speak unless spoken to, do not offend anyone, do not draw attention. And above all, do not make mistakes. The Concord itself was overwhelming. The hall stretched wider than any human city. The ceiling glowed with artificial stars. The floor shifted colors beneath alien feet. Strange scents filled the air, sharp and sweet and metallic all at once. Ethan kept his posture respectful and his expression neutral. He was doing everything right. Then the room changed. The lights dimmed slightly. The distant hum of energy shields deepened. One by one, alien delegates turned toward the central entrance. Royal arrivals. Ethan followed their gaze. The doors parted without a sound. Princess Sailira entered. She did not walk quickly, she did not rush. Every step was measured precise, as if the universe itself waited for her to move. Guards in ceremonial armor flanked her, but they were almost unnecessary. Her presence alone commanded fear. This was the ruler's daughter of the Velari Dominion, a species known across the galaxy for conquest, discipline, and emotional control. They were warriors, tacticians, and rulers. They did not laugh, they did not smile, they did not show weakness. Rumors said that entire planets had surrendered after seeing Velari fleets arrive in orbit. Ethan felt the pressure of her presence even from across the hall. His breath slowed, his instincts screamed at him to look away. But he didn't. As the princess walked past the human delegation, her gaze shifted. Her eyes met Ethan. For a brief moment, the noise, the size of the hall, and the weight of the galaxy seemed to disappear. She looked curious. Not angry, not cold, curious. Ethan felt his throat tighten. He did not know why, but instead of looking down or away, he did what he always did when nervous. He smiled. It was small, polite, human. The effect was immediate. The princess stopped walking. The guards froze. Several alien delegates gasped. Ethan's smile slowly faded as he realized something was wrong. Whispers spread like fire. That expression. Did he just bare his teeth? Is that a threat? Ethan's heart skipped. He took a small step back, suddenly aware that every eye in the hall had turned toward him. Princess Sailira stared at him in complete stillness. Her people had no word for smile. Among the Velari, exposing teeth was associated only with rage or challenge, yet what she saw on Ethan's face carried no hostility, no fear, no dominance. It carried warmth. Something ancient stirred within her. Something forbidden. The princess turned away without a word and continued toward her seat. The hall slowly returned to its tense rhythm, but Ethan remained frozen. His hands trembled slightly. What did I just do? He whispered to himself. For the rest of the session, Ethan felt watched. Not openly, not directly, but constantly. Whenever he shifted his weight, someone was observing him. Whenever he spoke quietly to another human delegate, a Velari guard seemed to be nearby. The feeling crawled along his spine. Meanwhile, Princess Sailira sat in silence, her posture perfect. Inside her mind, chaos reigned. The ancient texts of her people spoke of a rare phenomenon, a soul signal. A moment when another being showed genuine warmth without fear in the presence of royal authority. It was said to be impossible, a myth from a time before empires. Yet she had felt it. The human had not bowed, he had not flinched, he had not calculated. He had smiled. That night, Salara ordered investigations. Quiet ones. She learned of humanity's history, of fragile bodies and short lives, of endless wars, losses, recoveries, of art, music, humor, and emotional bonds that duffered logic. Humans should have been broken long ago. Yet they endured. Uthan Cross, she learned, had no noble blood, no military rank, no ambition for power. He was ordinary. And that made him dangerous. The next day, Uthan was summoned. No explanation was given. 2 Velari guards escorted him through corridors that glowed with shifting light. His footsteps echoed too loudly. His thoughts raced too fast. He was led into a private chamber. Princess Salara stood alone inside. The guards sealed the doors. Uthan swallowed. Your Highness, he said carefully, lowering his head. Look at me, she commanded. He did. Her eyes searched his face, studying every detail. Do it again, she said. Uthan blinked. Do what? That expression, she said, from yesterday. His pulse hammered. Slowly, uncertainly, Uthan smiled again. The room seemed to breathe. Salara closed her eyes for a brief moment. When she opened them, her decision was made. You are unaware, she said, of what you offered me. I didn't offer anything, Uthan replied honestly. I was just trying to be polite. Her lips twitched, not quite a smile, but close. That is why, she said softly, you are different. Hours later, the grand ceremony began. The hall was filled once more. Uthan stood at the center, surrounded by guards. His mind spun with questions and fear. He had not been told why he was there, only that he was required to attend. Princess Salara stepped forward. She raised her hand and declared him her future husband. Uthan whispered, barely audible, "Princess," I only smiled. She looked at him calmly. That, she said, was enough. The galactic concord did not calm after the princess spoke. It broke. Voices clashed in dozens of alien languages. Energy fields flared as guards stepped forward. Several delegates rose from their seats in anger, while others retreated in fear. The declaration had torn open a wound no one believed could exist. A human, future husband to a Valari princess. Uthan Cross stood frozen at the center of it all. His heart pounded so hard he could hear it in his ears. He did not reach for the princess. He did not step away. He simply stood there trying to breathe. Princess Salara did not move. Her posture remained straight, her expression calm. She watched the chaos with the patience of someone who had already decided the outcome. Silence, she said. Her voice cut through the noise like a blade. The hall fell quiet once more. This union is not a request, she continued. It is my choice. An ambassador from a rival empire stepped forward, his armored body shimmering with heat. This is an insult, he growled. Your bloodline cannot be bound to a weak species. Uthan felt every eye turn toward him again. Weak. Princess Salara turned her head slowly toward the speaker. You mistake short life for weakness, she said, and softness for surrender. She looked down at Uthan. He will be tested. The word echoed through the hall. Uthan's stomach tightened. He had heard enough alien legends to know what tests meant. If he failed, he would not simply lose a title. He would die. The days that followed passed in a blur. Uthan was moved to a secure chamber within the Valari complex. He was not treated as a prisoner, yet he was never alone. Guards stood outside at all times. His communication with Earth was limited. Messages arrived filled with confusion, fear, and desperate requests for explanation. Uthan had none to give. Princess Salara visited him often. She did not speak much. She watched him, observed how he moved, how he reacted to stress, how he treated servants and guards alike. He thanked those who brought him food. He apologized when he made mistakes. He asked questions, not demands. These small things unsettled her more than any weapon. The first trial was announced on the 7th day. The Hall of Judgment was older than the Dominion itself. Its walls were carved with symbols of conquest and sacrifice. Countless champions had entered. Few had survived. Uthan stepped inside alone. No armor, no weapons. Only his mind. The trial was not one of strength, but of endurance. The chamber shifted constantly, creating illusions designed to break the spirit. Fear, loss, isolation, failure. Uthan saw Earth burn. He saw his family age and die without him. He felt himself forgotten by history. He fell to his knees, shaking, breath ragged. But he did not surrender. He remembered humanity's past, the wars, the rebuilding, the endless cycle of falling and standing again. He stood. When the chamber finally stilled, the Valari judges were silent. He had endured longer than any before him. The second trial followed soon after. This time Uthan faced a Valari warrior in ritual combat. The warrior was larger, stronger, trained from birth to kill. The rules were simple. No lethal blows. Yield or be broken. Uthan's hands trembled as he took his stance. The fight was brutal. He was knocked to the ground again and again. His body screamed in pain. His vision blurred, but each time he fell, he found a way to rise. Not with strength. With timing. With adaptation. With refusal. When the warrior finally stopped, breathing heavily, Uthan still stood. Bloodied, bruised. Unbowed. The hall erupted in stunned silence. Princess Salara watched from above, her fingers gripping the arm of her throne. The third trial was the most dangerous. A choice. Uthan was given power. Control over a Valari strike fleet for 1 hour. He was told he could use it however he wished. Most expected destruction. Instead, Uthan ordered the fleet to stand down and reroute to protect vulnerable trade routes. He used the time to prevent conflict, not cause it. When asked why, he answered simply, "Power should protect, not prove." The trials ended. Uthan collapsed afterward, his body finally giving in. He woke in a medical chamber, lights softly glowing above him. Princess Salara stood beside his bed. "You could have ruled," she said quietly. "I don't want to rule," Uthan replied. "I just want to choose who I am." For the first time, Salara smiled. It was imperfect, awkward, human. The final ceremony arrived. Tension filled the hall hotter than before. Assassins moved in shadows, enemies whispered of rebellion. The Union threatened the balance of the galaxy. As Princess Salara stepped forward, energy blasts tore through the chamber. Chaos erupted. Ethan moved without thinking. He shielded her with his body as explosions shook the hall. Pain tore through his side. He fell but refused to let go. Human ships arrived moments later, Earth's forces moving with precision and unity. They did not dominate the battle. They ended it. Silence returned. Ethan lay bleeding, his breath shallow. Sailira knelt beside him, her hands shaking. "I release you," she whispered. "Choose your world." Ethan looked at her, pain clouding his vision. "I already did." The Union was sealed. Not by conquest, but by choice. Humanity rose in the eyes of the galaxy, not as rulers but as equals. A species that did not kneel, yet did not seek to dominate. And at the heart of it all was a simple truth. A single smile had changed everything. End.